In
225 BC, a massive army of 50,000 to 70,000 Celtic tribesmen had invaded Roman territories in northern Italy and were threatening the city of Rome itself. Two Roman consuls by the names of Lucius Aemilius Papus and Gaius Atilius Regulus were sent out to crush the Celtic invasion. In their pursuit of the Celts, both consuls had managed to trap the Celtic army from two fronts. Regulus had his army approaching from the north, and Aemilius had his army approaching from the south of the Celts. The two Roman armies were slowly closing in on the Celts' position. Aemilius and his army of 40,000 fast approaches from the south. His army was set up in the standard Roman triplex axis formation, with light Roman velites javelin men at the forefront. Newly recruited Hastati infantry making up the first line of the infantry. Followed by more experienced and better equipped principes in the second line. And making up the third lines of the infantry were the heavily armed veteran triari. While Aemilius led his Roman cavalry from the rear. Upon approaching the Celtic army, Aemilius had noticed that his fellow consul Regulus and his cavalry force were engaged with the Celtic cavalry atop a sloping hill which overlooked the battlefield. Aemilius himself rode out to assist Regulus. Although before Aemilius could arrive in time, his fellow consul man Regulus was slain in battle along with all his cavalry. Aemilius's fresh contingent of Roman equites cavalry made quick work of the depleted Celtic horsemen, as they had suffered heavy casualties fighting Regulus's cavalry contingent before Aemilius had arrived. Aemilius and his cavalry now controlled the hilltop overlooking the battlefield, which provided a great strategic position for the Romans. Both the northern and southern Roman infantry advanced on the Celts in a steady and disciplined formation. The Roman velites marched forward and began unleashing volleys of light javelins upon the Celtic lines. Many of the naked Celtic warriors suffered heavy losses during this barrage. After inflicting serious damage upon the Celts, the Velites withdrew, and the first Roman line of Hastati marched forward. The Hastati were well matched by the Celtic warriors and were unable to break their lines. They withdrew and allowed the more experienced Principe's infantry to advance on the Celtic lines. The Principes had more success than their Hastati counterparts, inflicting heavy casualties on the Celtic lines. However, the Celts held firm and continued fighting bravely, ultimately knowing that they could not retreat and were inevitably left fighting for their lives. Emilius, who was waiting for the perfect time to strike, led his large cavalry force charging down the hills and straight toward the Celtic lines. Roman cavalry came crashing into the engaged lines of the Celts, causing havoc and chaos. The entire Celtic army was wiped out, with no one escaping the battle. According to historians, 40,000 Celts died that day, with 10,000 being captured, with the Romans having only lost 6,000 men, including their consul Gaius Atilius Regulus.